On track, on track, on track, on track, on track with Jada. On track, on track, on track, on track, on track with Jada. These male-centered women usually coddle boys. They don't hold the boys and men around them accountable. They infantilize the boys and men around them, and they adultify the girls around them. They belittle and challenge and compete with the girls and women around them. So their daughters, if this isn't corrected, their daughters grow into women who also compete with women because that male-centered chip her mom placed is so deep in her head. She does not realize how being male-centered and in constant competition with other women is going to destroy her life. Male-centered women never win. They don't. It catches up to them eventually. Welcome back to On Track with Jada. Today we are having a very necessary conversation about the spirit of desperation, the psychology of male-centered women, and a little phenomenon I'd like to call destiny chopping. You might know it as destiny swapping, the idea that someone wants your life so bad, they try to spiritually and physically trade places with you. But I call it chopping because, as we are about to see, when you try to steal a life that wasn't ordained for you, you don't get the blessing. You get a chopped up, distorted, cursed version of that reality. We are going to break this down using the viral case of Brenay Kennard and Akira Montague. If you haven't heard, a jury just ordered Brenay to pay $1.75 million for destroying Akira's marriage. We're talking about betrayal. We're talking about alleged root work, teeth found in the home, and a level of audacity that can only come from a spirit of deep insecurity. But we aren't just gossiping. We are going to connect this to a deeper issue. How male-centered mothers condition their daughters to compete for male attention, and their sons to expect women to serve them. If you've ever dealt with a jealous friend, a toxic mother-in-law, or a man who refuses to grow up, grab your tea because we are going deep today.
An affair, a TikTok star, and a $1.75 million verdict that nearly ended with a fight outside the Durham County Courthouse. That was not the fight. That was the joy inside the courtroom. We're talking about the case of North Carolina TikToker Brenay Montague. She was sued by her now husband's ex-wife. Tonight, a jury found Montague liable for destroying the couple's marriage. WR's Eric Miller was in court and has the story.
That's the sound of a $1.75 million cheer, coming just moments after court was adjourned. Akira Montague embraced her attorney, Robinetta Jones, as dozens of supporters yelled from the sidelines.
She has received justice from losing her husband and the father of her children.
Akira Montague's lawsuit, filed in Durham County Court, accuses Brenay Montague, an influencer with nearly 3 million followers on TikTok, of seducing and having an affair with her then-husband, Tim. That affair then turning to marriage when Brenay and Tim wed. In the suit, Akira Montague claimed Brenay used her online influence as a weapon. The affair also caused damage to her health and deprived her kids of a two-parent household.
And it was nothing but lies.
Brenay Montague, who represented herself in court, slammed the verdict, saying Akira Montague knew her marriage was over and allowed the affair.
She gave her consent. She said it was okay because she knew her marriage was over with and it was done.
But the jury didn't agree, awarding Akira Montague the $1.75 million after more than 700 pieces of evidence were presented in court, including some of Brenay's own TikToks and texts.
That says that my client was telling the truth.
The case hinged on two rarely used laws, including alienation of affection.
It can be very hard to prove, and the reason is because it's hard to find a point in a relationship where the relationship necessarily started to go bad.
But in these videos and in the court testimony, the jury found that point, leaving Brenay Montague with a hefty bill and no answer on how she'll pay.
I don't know, but she'll probably never see it.
This is Akira Montague, days after a jury awarded her $1.75 million in an alienation of affection case that has sparked international headlines.
I went right back to work, and so the people at my job, they kind of got rid of some of my stuff because they thought I wasn't coming back because of how much that I was awarded.
The case is centered around this woman, viral TikTok star Brenay Kennard, allegedly having an affair with Montague's husband that she became aware of in January of 2024. The lawsuit alleged Kennard flaunted that affair on social media to her more than 3 million followers, claiming she could not wait to become Mrs. Montague.
She's worth everything for him. He's worth everything to her.
The alienation of affection law states that if a marriage ends on an account of infidelity, the husband or wife in certain situations can sue the person who the spouse had the affair with.
I was raised to respect the marriage. I was raised to respect God. So loyalty, marriage, the White House with the picket fence and the dog and the kids, that's me.
Akira becoming emotional, thinking of the impact this has on her kids.
It was horrible. I can't, even right now, I don't like going out in public with my kids because I'll get stopped in the store. I can't have fun with my kids to this day because people harass me and them. So it's hard.
Attorney Robinetta Jones, who represented Montague, says the evidence of Kennard's actions, who has since married Montague's ex-husband, has consequences.
I want people to be able to think, okay, Miss Montague won $1.75 million. Is that man worth it? Is that woman worth it? They will think now.
The case capturing attention worldwide.
She has an outpouring of support from everyone online and just here in the state of North Carolina. It's because a lot of women can resonate with her.
Akira now looking back at a dream deferred.
Yeah, I was deeply in love with that man, that I would do anything for him. I made sure that I put him first, and I shouldn't have.
Eyewitness News reached out to Brenay Kennard for comment after the trial, but she chose to decline. Reporting in Raleigh, Dewan Hogard, ABC 11, Eyewitness News.
A modern-day Montague feud gone viral.
And it was nothing but lies.
North Carolina TikToker Brenay Kennard ordered to pay $1.75 million after a jury found her liable for having an affair with her manager, Tim Montague, characterized under North Carolina law as criminal conversation and alienation of affection. Montague's ex-wife, Akira, suing Kennard for her deliberate interference in the marriage, including wrongful and malicious acts.
What's up, y'all?
Saying in a court filing, Kennard engaged in behavior designed to seduce him, like wearing very short skirts and twirling her hair in a flirtatious manner. The plaintiff's attorneys presented evidence, including sexual videos and texts, a video of Kennard dancing in the couple's home, and another video of her saying she cannot wait to be Mrs. Montague. They argued the TikToker, who had millions of followers, flaunted their relationship on social media.
Hi, guys.
That says that my client was telling the truth.
Akira Montague saying as a result of Kennard's actions, she has suffered humiliation, mental and emotional anguish, and injury to her health, adding their actions deprived their two young children of a two-parent household.
She has received justice from losing her husband and the father of her children.
But Kennard argues she had Montague's consent.
She gave her consent. She said it was okay because she knew her marriage was over with and it was done.
Kennard now calling herself Mrs. Montague, saying the couple are married, though NBC News couldn't find any legal documentation supporting that claim. She tells NBC News in a statement, the verdict wasn't fair at all. I fought the lies for 8 days, and the jury sought sympathy, not facts, adding it's not over until God says it's over. Tim Montague adding about the TikToker, my wife had no fair shot, especially when defending herself against an entire team of attorneys. As for that $1.75 million payday,
I don't know, but she'll probably never see it.
All right, Maggie joins us now. Maggie, sorry, we were sort of glued to the monitors there. This one's a strange one.
Fair.
Let's back up. You mentioned this is a North Carolina law, but there are other states where people can sue over infidelity?
Yeah, Tom, that's actually true. And for people sitting at home thinking, hold on, you can be sued for having an affair, the answer is yes, indeed. This is a thing. In fact, in a handful of states, including Utah, New Mexico, and Mississippi. And North Carolina, for its part, has actually seen multiple cases, including back in 2021. There was one involving a state senator that was settled out of court. And then back in 2011, a kind of infamous payday, there was one of these cases where a woman was ordered to pay $30 million for wrecking a marriage.
30 million. Wow.
30
okay.
million.
Maggie Vespa, we thank you for bringing us that story.
Look at what a crumb of pussy and some promises make a bitch do. You break up your family. You break up your partnership with your wife. For what? You traumatize your kids. For what? Was it worth it? Was it worth it, Tim? Was all of this worth traumatizing and dragging your wife and kids? What a disappointment. And Brenay's nothing but a Jezebel. Tim's a disappointment. Brenay's a Jezebel. Did you hear what Akira said during that news interview? She said she loved that man so much. She was so in love with him. She would put Tim above herself. And I'm sure she would put her kids above herself. So here she is, sacrificing for her family, putting herself on the back burner for her marriage, for her family. And look at what she got in return. I'm so happy she won the lawsuit, but I'm sure she would have preferred none of this ever happened. She does deserve the compensation for all of the stress both Brenay and Tim have put on her and her children. They can't even go outside without being harassed or this lawsuit being brought up. I'm sure she deals with online trolls, bullying, and I'm sure her kids deal with bullying and this being brought up at school. This has been all across the country. Their lives will never be the same. On top of everything that's already happened, she deals with Brenay playing in her face online and justifying her actions. She deals with her now ex-husband's family justifying his actions and enabling him. So much for support, but we all know the man's family is never your family.
This is an interesting take, but I don't think that's the reason at all. I don't think Brenay was ever counting on Akira fighting back. As we learn more about this case, we see that Brenay was intentionally doing things not just to get Akira to fight her, but to make Akira afraid. She went to the children's graduation in spite of having a restraining order to incite fear. If you've ever seen any stalking cases, if you've ever seen any thrillers or obsessive movies, this is what they do. Like, they don't care about no restraining orders. They're doing this because they want you to be afraid of them. They want you to know that even if there's a restraining order, that cannot protect you. We also see that as this case continues to roll out, that Brenay has been very aggressive towards Akira. She also laughed online multiple times and said that Akira is intimidated by her. She wants Akira to be afraid of her. And she wasn't banking on Akira coming at her the way she's coming at her with the court. Tim is also doing a lot of things in court and just overall to spark fear into Devon, but it's not working. Making threats at him, their family is making threats at him inside the courtroom because they want him to be afraid. This is all about trying to incite fear and scare them and cause them more suffering and more pain. Like I said in the last video, this is very sadistic because they enjoy watching other people suffer and having front row seats to it. They enjoy lying and gaslighting people and confusing people. They are agents of chaos. And it is my belief that Tim and Brenay want Devon and Akira unalived, and that they are very much so capable, if not already plotting and planning on how to do that. When they posted online them at the gun range, that was psychological. That was them trying to get their message across, like, yeah, we're practicing. Tim bringing a weapon up to the courthouse was him like, yeah, I'm gonna do that to you. These are the type of people that they are dealing with. I don't know if Devon has a restraining order against his cousin Tim, but he needs to get one. If he does not have one, I would get one. And Brenay also was doing all of this because she wants Akira's life. She doesn't just want Tim. She wants his entire life. She wants the kids to be hers. She wants Tim to be hers. She wants people to be like, yeah, look at me and my family. I'm their mommy, not Akira. Have you ever seen that movie, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle? Yeah. Go watch that if you haven't seen it. The woman moves into the home. She becomes obsessed with the husband. She becomes obsessed with the family and tries to like bully the woman out, tries to make everybody believe that the wife is crazy, but she's not. And eventually what she's doing is not working, and it leads to her coming back and trying to unalive everybody, or more specifically the wife. That's what she was trying to do to Akira, but it wasn't working. She wanted Akira to look crazy. She wanted everybody to believe that Akira was the crazy nut job, but it wasn't working. And now that it's not working, she's spiraling. They are still trying to cast these spells, but it's backfiring. Again, Devon and Akira are divinely protected. And I also believe that's the reason why this did not escalate or turn into a murder trial. And I hope and pray that it does not escalate to that point. But do understand you are dealing with some very evil people who are very capable and have the intent to unalive. And Brenay was not banking on Akira fighting back. She was not banking on this going this way. This is actually doing the opposite of what she wanted it to do. She also flaunted Tim around online and was doing all this stuff because she wanted to rub it in Akira's face. She is a bully, but she is also a coward. It is the reason why when Akira tried to fight Brenay, she wanted to like press charges. Because if she can't unalive Akira, she'll try to put her in prison. Anything to get her out of the way and watch her suffer. But again, what they're doing, it's not working. And so yeah, it's deeper than just like, oh, she wanted Akira to hit her, she wanted to fight. No, this is about inciting fear. This is intimidation tactics. This is what witches do. This is what they do. They want to intimidate you, but at the root of it, they're cowardly. And when they cannot get their way and the obsession and stuff is not going their way, they resort to unaliving people. So I'm calling it now. Brenay also has some type of weird thing going on with her sister Corinne. So once Akira is like out of the way and this kind of wraps up, you will see them turn on each other. What that may look like, I'm not really sure, but it's pending. Because up until this point, Corinne has been trying to fake support her sister, but you know, Akira has multiple enemies, which is like Tim, his family, Brenay, her sister, but Brenay's enemies are her mother and her sister. But once Akira is removed, she's gone, she's gonna have to deal with her own enemies, and they will turn on each other. Those tables will turn, and the same thing she did to Akira is what Corinne is gonna do to her, possibly.
Cause yeah, I got a downstairs, yeah. So I'm gonna show you what my downstairs look like, and we're gonna do the whoopties and the swoopties. That way, if you hear anybody, it's my baby on the phone. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so let's turn the lights on. So this is my downstairs. Woo woo. Looks cute. Look at Milo. Milo. Look like a little tiger. Milo said hey. Just walking around.
You ladies need to understand that not every woman is looking out for your best interest. There are women out here who have no issue with harming you to get what they want. There are women out here who complain about the quality of men and dating experiences in this day and age, but they themselves contribute to the suffering of women, whether that's raising dusty men or attacking other women. This can look like interfering in their marriages or their relationships, attacking them online, bullying them, whatever it may be. Knocking women down a peg is something that insecure women feel too comfortable doing.
So when it comes to Akira and Brenay's case, a lot of people keep hearing her sister Corinne and Brenay say they were never friends. They were never friends. And I even think the woman Black Goddess was like, that girl is lying. They were friends. I need y'all to understand something. That might be the only truest thing Brenay and Corinne have said. When Brenay says that they were not friends, she truly wholeheartedly means that. When Corinne says that they were not friends, she wholeheartedly means that. Do you know why? Because they went into that situation trying to infiltrate their marriage. Brenay planted herself into Akira's life to befriend her with the intention to take her husband. This was a very well thought out plan. This was not, oh, we just so happened to end up being friends type thing. No, she intentionally planted herself in that situation to get close to Tim. She would become best friends with Akira to get all the tea about Tim and what's going on in their marriage, to see where she could get in, to see what he likes, to see what he's like. She wants to know all about that man. And what better way to get information than befriending the actual wife? Playing on her empathy, playing on her naivety. She was manipulating Akira. That was never her friend. She pretended to be her friend for her own personal gain, so that she could turn around and backstab her. As soon as she got what she wanted, that mask fell. She didn't have to pretend anymore. She was never friends with her. She just pretended to be her friend. She pretended. She never had any genuine love for Akira. She always hated her. She was somebody that was in the way of what she really wanted. She wanted to study Akira. She wanted to feel like, okay, well, what do I have to do? How do I have to be? What is he like? What does he struggle with? How can I get him? She got close to Akira because she wanted to infiltrate. She needed a way to be in there to have access to him. She needed to study Akira so she can become more like her, to attract him and keep him, and also to take her out if she needed to. So some people are mad that she's saying they were never friends. No, that might be the only honest thing that she has said thus far. She never saw Akira as a friend. She used Akira to get to Tim. Akira was just someone who was in the way, but also somebody she needed in order to gain access. That's what these witches be doing. A lot of them will get super close to you. They will start befriending you because they need direct access. They need to know what's going on. They need to see if they schemes and they plots and they witchcraft and spell stuff is working. A lot of them like having front row seats to other people's misery, especially if they're the ones who caused it. Brenay is a very sick individual, and so was Corinne, in the fact that they like to see people suffer. They take joy in other people's pain. That's what makes all of this so sadistic. They're entertained by this. They're entertained by this 100%. They don't feel not an ounce of guilt or embarrassment or shame. They are 100% delusional and honestly really dangerous. Like, even though this is an alienation of affection type case, this can easily turn into an assault, criminal type case because of the type of people that they're dealing with. The fact that Tim even tried to bring a weapon to the courthouse lets you know what type of time these people are on. They're on straight demon time. So out of everything that has been said by Corinne, Brenay, and Tim, the only honest thing, the only real thing, is the fact that Akira was never her friend. Akira was most definitely her friend and most definitely cared about her, but it was one-sided. Akira just didn't know.
Insecure, jealous, and envious women have no problem doing what it takes, even if that means harming others, to get what they want. Because these women are living from a place of lack. They believe that there is not enough men and love to go around. So if they need to cheat, steal, or scam, they are willing to do that to get a piece of a man. That's desperate. They're okay living in this desperate state, living in this scarce state. They're okay with that. They are not women with integrity. They are not women who reflect on themselves and their behaviors. They do not take the time to look within and figure out what is causing them to attract certain types of men they may not like. They don't look within to find out why they may be unfulfilled in certain areas of their lives. They put the blame on external factors for why their lives aren't the way it should be. They put blame on external factors for why their lives are the way they are. It's hard for a lot of people to swallow the fact that they are living the life that they believe they are deserving of. If you are living a life that is just extremely unfulfilling, nothing is working out for you, your love life is in shambles, you don't have any good friends, you really need to look within to find out why that is the case. Because yes, sometimes it is, you know, people that aren't meant for you falling away. That is the case sometimes. Sometimes we go through rough patches in life. Yes, life has its highs and lows, but sometimes there is a deeper issue at play, and some women are just not willing to face it. Some women go through life behaving in a way they believe is appropriate, even though it can be harmful to others. They're okay with how they act. And they can go through life not being checked, not being corrected. Or if they are corrected, they take it as an insult and they continue this pattern of behavior, this pattern of destructive behavior. So they're continuing this destructive behavior and they continue to be harmful to others. They continue to put women down and attack women. These are women who are comfortable breaking up homes, interfering in relationships, stalking and bullying women. They're okay with all these treacherous acts, right? And then they reach a point in their lives and they look around and they got a man that ain't shit. They have broken relationships with everyone around them. They have broken relationships with their loved ones. They have broken friendships. They have broken relationships with their children. Their careers in shambles. Their home is in shambles. Or they're living in a space that they don't like. Nothing seems to be going their way. And it's so hard for them to come to terms with the fact that it was them who got themselves to that point. You're the one driving the car. You're the one who's in charge of your life. So if you end up in a place that is unfulfilling to you, you have a decision to make. Your choices got you to the place that you are right now. So what are you going to do about it? Instead of pointing the finger at everybody else, pointing the finger at parents, pointing the finger at your relationships, your romantic partners, your friends, instead of pointing the finger at everybody else for where you are in life, you need to hold up that mirror and look at yourself. How did you get here? Be honest. You need to use I statements. How did you get yourself to this point? What role did you play in your own suffering? What role did you play in your demise? In this patriarchal society, we see how some women are more than willing to sabotage other women. They are more than willing to raise dysfunctional sons, mama's boys. Who wants a mama's boy but a mama? Nobody wants a mama's boy. A mama's boy only benefits the owner, the mother. And at the root of that is just manipulation and control. At the root of that is manipulation, control, and narcissism. These women are so unfulfilled with their love lives, their lives in general. They lean on their children and they seek emotional, sometimes financial, support from their sons. If they don't have sons, they seek that support from their daughters. So, narcissistic parents seek emotional support, financial support from their children. But it's a little bit different when it's a boy versus a girl. With their girl children, right, they will lean on them for emotional support. They will treat their daughters as a therapist and expect their daughters to help them fix things. Since male-centered women are usually self-deprecating women, they don't have high self-esteem or high self-confidence. If they did, they wouldn't feel the need to belittle other women. Male-centered women have low self-esteem and low self-confidence. And that is something that is projected onto the girl child. The mother may belittle her, only give her attention when she performs, when she's helpful. The son, on the other hand, he is also used for emotional or financial support, but it's a little different. These mothers seek the admiration of their sons. They seek comfort from their sons. They seek male validation from their sons. This is something their daughters can't give them. They create this unhealthy enmeshment with their children so that they have a supply because they themselves feel empty. They have a void within them. They're so unfulfilled. They need to drain those around them. They need a supply from those around them. And anyone that gets in the way of them getting their supply is a threat that needs to be targeted and attacked. This is why you'll see mother-in-laws attack their daughter-in-laws, or in some cases, mother-in-laws who attack their son-in-laws. These mothers feel threatened by their child giving their attention, their resources, their energy to somebody outside of them because they want their child's undivided attention, undivided resources, undivided love. This is why male-centered mothers have such poor relationships with their daughter-in-laws and strained relationships with their daughters. They need control, so they are willing to do whatever to manipulate the situation. This could be speaking poorly about their daughter or son-in-law. This could be strategically interfering, excluding the daughter or son-in-law from events, celebrations, whatever it may be, not making the daughter or son-in-law feel included in a part of the family. Male-centered women usually come from a lineage of other male-centered women. The monster has a mother. So they learn these behaviors from their mother. Their mother never valued themselves. They saw that through the mother's love life. They saw that through the mother's lack of self-care, lack of self-love, and how that showed up in the mother's daily life. So children pick up on these things. The mother is self-deprecating, has low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and she's willing to do whatever to keep a piece of a man. This is harmful to both the boy child and the girl child. This is harmful to the girl child because she looks at her mother as the first example of a woman, what it means to be a woman, what sisterhood means. The daughter collects all this information from her first example, which is the mother. So if the mother doesn't see herself highly, if the mother isn't reflecting and holding herself accountable, if the mother isn't taking care of herself, the daughter will follow in those steps unless she does the proper work to undo that programming. When it comes to the boy child, he sees his mother lack self-love, lack boundaries, lack self-confidence. And this warps his outlook on women and relationships and marriage. Very similar to how it warps a girl child's look on it. Sometimes these boys will grow into men who expect the women they date to deal with the same things and perform in a similar way their mother did. So, because their mother lacked boundaries or had low self-esteem and self-confidence, she probably performed for men, did most of the work when it came to the kids, the house. She performed a lot. She put herself on the back burner and put everybody else above her. So now we have men who expect the women they date to behave in a similar way. They expect the women they date to perform, to overwork themselves, and overgive of themselves because that is what they saw their mother do. They saw their mother going 50-50 and taking on the household chores and the child rearing and pick up, drop off, and being a career woman. They saw their mother being Captain Save-A-Ho. They saw their mother being Barbara the Builder. They saw their mother be Superwoman. And now they expect all the women they date to be their mother. These male-centered women usually coddle boys. They don't hold the boys and men around them accountable. They infantilize the boys and men around them, and they adultify the girls around them. They belittle and challenge and compete with the girls and women around them. So their daughters, if this isn't corrected, their daughters grow into women who also compete with women because that male-centered chip her mom placed is so deep in her head. She does not realize how being male-centered and in constant competition with other women is going to destroy her life. Male-centered women never win. They don't. It catches up to them eventually. Even if it's in old age, when they're sitting down thinking about their sad lives and all the men who have let them down and disappointed them and abused and neglected them, they have to sit in the beds they've made. And it's extremely uncomfortable. They are surrounded by unfulfilling relationships. They are unhappy, miserable, and bitter. If you are an individual who is willing to harm others to get what they want, you will reap what you sow. You will see the fruits of your labor. And they will be rotten fruits. Rotten, wormy, moldy fruits. And you will have to eat them. So now Brenay is reaping what she has sown. She paid $1.75 million for that man. And I hope that it was worth it for her. You cannot go through this world doing grimy things to people and not expecting it to come back to you. This also serves as a lesson to women and couples. Honor your relationship. Honor your wife. Honor your husband. Honor your children. Do not do something that is going to tear apart your family and leave your kids traumatized. Do not put your family in harm's way. Do not put your spouse in harm's way. Because Akira could have also gotten an STD from this cheating. Women also, do not put a man above yourself. It never works out when a woman is a martyr and sacrifices herself for a man. You end up paying the cost. And it's a painful realization when you see that the man that you are sacrificing so much for is dogging you out and is willing to dog you out. When women don't honor and value themselves, it leaves room for them to be taken advantage of and manipulated. You should never leave yourself vulnerable in that way. Nobody's going to love you the way that you can love you. Nobody's going to pour into your cup the way that you can pour into your cup. So start loving yourself today. Start honoring yourself today. Do not put up with terrible behavior. Do not enable this behavior. Do not tolerate it. If you are with someone who is not willing to honor you and uphold you and respect you and love you the way that you should be loved, that is not someone you should be with. If as a woman you find yourself carrying the weight of the relationship, carrying the weight of the household, carrying the weight of the family, you need to put some things down. You should never be working yourself into the ground for a man. If you come across a man who is not consistent with his efforts, leave him where he is. If you come across a man who is not honest and transparent with you about what is going on, what he's feeling, what is happening, leave him. If you come across a man who is okay with you doing most of the work in the relationship, in the home, when it comes to the family, leave him. Because your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health matters much more than that. Your overall health matters much more than a relationship. So when you come across men who do not want to pour into you, uplift you, show you that they value and appreciate you, leave them where they are. Let somebody else deal with it.
I don't really have much to say about them specifically that hasn't already been said, but what I will say is you better learn when to recognize somebody is trying to put a root on you. My peoples is from the Carolinas, okay? North and south, from the sticks. I know what a root look like. That's a root. Y'all gotta, a lot of y'all don't be peeping game, and not, because some of y'all ain't spiritual. It's fine. But you should be able to pay attention to when somebody's trying to put a root on you. That whole destiny swapping thing, baby, that's, well, yes, also that, but like also a root. I know a root when I see one. Why is, I heard about Akira, the girl Akira, I think her name is, finding teeth around the house. Sweetie. Letting her come live with you. No shade. Like, you gotta be very protective of your dwellings. A lot of people don't even know where the fuck I live at. I have friends who I've been friends with for years, and they're like, oh, I didn't even know you lived in it. Exactly, and you don't need to. Well, not my friends, but like in general, like, y'all see me in my car, I do not post what I'm driving, because people can put a root on anything. You gotta be careful with what you share. Your space is sacred, etc., so forth. And that's no shade, but like, I don't have much to say outside of this. Is like, there's a root being done here, and they're sloppy at it too, because it's like, representing yourself in court tells me everything I need to know.
Of people who are living in a state of desperation and jealousy. When an individual is functioning from a place of scarcity and desperation, they are making self-deprecating decisions. They are making decisions that will not give them long-term satisfaction. They are making decisions rooted in their desperation, which further feeds their suffering. These individuals leave themselves vulnerable to demonic attack because demonic entities love desperate, low vibrational, self-hating, self-deprecating, low self-esteem individuals. Those are their favorite kind to attach to. Because these people don't move with integrity and they are okay with harming others to get what they want, these entities, these dark entities, will attach to them and consume them. The spirit of jealousy, the spirit of envy, the spirit of desperation will consume them. and they will become darker. They are destructive to themselves and others. They are okay with harming, attacking, lying on, manipulating, and using other people. They have no light of their own. A being who has no light of their own is a demon. If you feel the need to cling to others, to copy others, to sabotage others, to attack and belittle others, there is a deep-seated issue. And that issue, that darkness will consume them. And this is how some people become demons. Some people hold on to a false narrative that they tell themselves to justify their actions. Some people stay in a place of victimhood, even though there are several cases where they aren't exactly the victim. They will tell themselves these stories of them being wronged, of someone doing something to them. What they perceive as somebody wronging them is just somebody making them take accountability. They will see you calling them out and shedding a light on their darkness. They will see that as an attack, because people who stay in a state of victimhood also turn into demons, because they are vibrating at such a low frequency. They are vibrating at a frequency of self-deprecation, of desperation, of low self-confidence. They are vibrating at a frequency of hate for others, which makes them perfect for demonic attachment. They're the perfect host. They have so much darkness and suffering, self-inflicted suffering, so much trauma that they refuse to heal from. It causes them to lose control of their spirit. They don't know how to feed their spirit with love and light. All they know is hate, envy, jealousy, competition. If you are moving in that frequency, you are leaving yourself vulnerable to demonic attack. Darkness recognizes darkness. Y'all be careful, because there are people you will come into contact with who are stuck in a state of suffering, stuck in a state of desperation, stuck in a state of insecurity that they refuse to lift themselves out of. And they will try to wreak havoc on your life. They will try to lower your vibration. They will try to put their demons on you. But know that light always wins. Speak your truth. Call out these demons. Call out people for who they are. Hold people accountable. Stay prayed up. Keep your spirit, keep your home, keep your loved ones protected, because there are some very desperate people out here who are willing to do anything to get what they want. There are people walking on this earth who look like humans, but they are a vessel for demons. You will come across people who will treat you poorly, who will speak to you poorly, who will belittle you, who will try to knock you down and leave you turned out. Don't let them do that. Don't give them the power. Don't give them the satisfaction. Let them continue suffering. Leave them where you found them. Do not let them drag you down. It's important that each individual does the required self-work and self-healing so that they aren't consumed by their darkness and their trauma. This life is hard for everybody, some more than others, but your trauma is not an excuse to inflict pain and harm onto others. So when you see these people who move from a place of desperation and scarcity, when you see these people who create chaos, cause destruction where they go, when you come across these people who mean you no good, clock them and leave them right where they are. Do not try to fix them. Do not try to help them. There are some people who have become comfortable with the pain of their own suffering. There are some people who have become comfortable inflicting pain onto themselves by making decisions that don't serve them. So if somebody doesn't value, love, and respect themselves, what do you think they are capable of doing to you? If they can't even save themselves, what do you expect them to do for you? They cannot create a space that is uplifting, that is loving, because they don't have that within them. So remove these people from your life, avoid them, don't allow them to drain you, because keep in mind, they have no light of their own. So they will go around feeding off the light of others. So spot it, clock it, leave it. They're not worth it. These people bring nothing but darkness and destruction. When you come across individuals who can't take accountability for their actions and their words, label them for who they are and keep it pushing. Demons can only do what you allow. Rebuke them. Send them back to the pit of hell where they belong and move on with your life. I love you all.